Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Callie, and today we're going to be talking about the unconscious and the conscious mind for beginners. And do you ever question why you behave the way you do and get triggered the way you do and not knowing why in certain situations and reasons? So by the end of this video, you're going to understand absolutely everything about it, and not only that, being able to get your life back into track and control your life again. For the best relationship, mindset, and lifestyle advices, subscribe to my channel and also hit the notification button to be notified of my new video every week on Wednesdays. I know the unconscious and the conscious mind is so powerful because my background is a nurse, and I've been always trained to believe that the brain or everything in our body is just an organ, and it has its own functions and mechanisms and science and everything to it. However, little did I know that our mind is so powerful that we could erase and change habits and behaviors and patterns so we can be better and live a life that's aligned to how we are. And it's not just an organ, there's so much more to it. And I want to tell you today, explain and be clear to you as possible that anything's possible, and then you can have it too today and be clear and be free from all the things that are happening in your life. So tip number one, the conscious mind. Now, everybody uses the conscious mind, and you do, I do, everyone does, right? However, it only represents 4% of a whole entire mind. Like, this is mind-blowing, right? And it's only about the awareness. The conscious mind is very aware of everything that is happening. So when you're aware that the door is opening, you're aware that you're eating, you're aware that the car's coming, when you're aware of what's happening in your situation or surrounding, that's consciousness, or being conscious-minded. And that's only 4%. And the brain, the conscious mind, is very linear, can only do one thing at a time. And what I mean by that is, I could be, reading a book, and then I stop, and then I change my focus. I would be writing, and then I change my focus, and then I'll be organizing and planning. And what happens is people think that they're multitasking, but the fact is they're actually just changing their focus one thing to another. So a person that is, booking appointments while writing and on the phone, they're just changing their focus and multitasking. That's what they call multitasking. But the fact is they're just, changing their focus multiple times. So tip number two is about our unconscious mind. And this is most of the things that we're not aware of, right? And this is awareness. So for example, I'm looking at the camera now and I'm not aware of the birds outside. I'm not aware about the noises that are around me. I'm not aware of people walking upstairs or what's happening around me, because all I am doing is I'm conscious of everything that's happening. So anything that I am unconscious of, then that is part of the unconscious mind, kind of filtering everything out so I can be focused on the camera now. And the unconscious mind, it represents roughly around 96% to 98% of a whole entire mind. It's like amazing, right? And then what happens in this unconscious mind is everything's automated. So automatic. So when I'm actually speaking to you, my feet is actually tapping, my fingers are tapping. When you eat, do you actually consciously think about eating? No, you're actually unconsciously eating, chewing, your saliva's working while you're on your phone or while your friend's talking to you. You can do all of that at the same time without having to change focus, right? And that's what your unconscious mind can do. And in your unconscious mind, it's all your belief systems, your emotions, your long-term memories and patterns and belief patterns and emotions. Everything of that deeper level is all stored in that level or stored in that place. And this whole pattern occurs since you were born or while you're in the womb with your mom. So everything that you learned, everything you discovered throughout life just gets stored in this unconscious mind, and it just gets itself played as a pattern over and over again as an automated, you can say a tape recorder, like a lot of people mention or talk about, and it just keeps playing like a loop over and over again, then that's why it becomes your behavior, becomes your belief, it becomes your influences, and that's why you are the way you are, or behave the way you are, and react the way you are. So tip number 3, how does it actually all work together? And I'm telling you guys, you are actually using it right now, your conscious and your unconscious mind all the time. However, you just don't really notice it working alongside with you. You're very conscious minded that, okay, I've got this appointment to meet and I've got to be here at this time. But unconsciously, certain behaviors, certain patterns are coming up. Oh, should I even go? Or, oh, what if I'm late? Those are belief patterns and things that are happening underneath, and they're actually working together all the time. Have you actually ever tried driving, right? You'd be driving and you'd be focusing on the road, and next thing you know, you turned up somewhere unknowingly, and you'd be like, how do I get to this spot? Or how do I get here? And you were consciously driving, however, unconsciously being navigated, or your focus was somewhere else, and you actually got to a place knowingly or unknowingly according to how you wanted to get there, right? So that's an example of your conscious and unconscious mind working together, and you use it every day, every moment, every second, because it works hand in hand together, so you can move forward and you can change. And that's why sometimes your emotions and anything just pops up knowingly or reacting a certain way, because you're not aware of these things actually happening. And sometimes you just get triggered, right? You get triggered from someone saying something. You get triggered when someone treats you a certain way. You get triggered when you don't do something that you were meant to do, and you feel this feeling or this pattern coming up in a loop that's coming up to the surface from unconscious to the conscious mind and saying, I don't like that. I don't like how you're treating me. And, oh, I feel like that. And that's what's happening, and it's coming up, bottling up in unconscious mind and coming up to your conscious mind. So it surfaces, and anytime a situation that's similar, or you get triggered by the similar people or, emotion or situation, that same pattern will come again, like a loop recorder, like I mentioned before. And the thing is, people often think when they have a reaction that's always the other person. You're the one mistreated me. You're the one who did that. And, I couldn't help the situation because this situation happened. But the fact is, it was you that had the reaction, right? There could be multiple people in that situation, but yet you reacted the way you do, and someone reacted the way they do. And the other person, had the perception or something else. And it's all a perception from ourselves, how we see the world. For example, a car accident, right? One person can see it from this perspective and say, no, it happened like this. This person was wearing this color. And another person that saw the same thing say, no, this person wasn't wearing that color. This person was wearing this and looked like this. And this is what really happened. And another person will say something else. And another person will say something else. And it's all a perception of how they were feeling, what was going on in the day, what car they were driving, and how they saw it on a different angle. Yet they all saw the same scene. How crazy is that? Why does that happen? It comes back down to how you absorb the information, how you perceive the information, and how you react to that information that's come in. And comment below and tell me, do you have any emotions or triggers or feelings that keep coming up and getting triggered for different situations? So comment below. And when you comment below, it start to acknowledge that, yes, this is how I'm feeling and I'm going to do something about it, right? So comment below and tell everyone and me and the world, it's like, I want to change this. I want to be different. I want to grow from it, and I'm going to start it from here. And tip number 4, how do you actually access your unconscious mind? And there's actually a few ways you can access your unconscious mind. And the first thing is creating your neural pathways. So I have spoken about this before, and really creating a new path for yourself, a new way of thinking. Instead of thinking, why I'm like this, how come I react like this? Instead of, what, I want to think like this now. I want to be here. I want to be a person that's like this. I want to feel like this, and start creating new pathways. How do I do that? What do I need to do? What do I need to create? And start creating a new path. And I'm telling you, when you first start to do that, it can be a challenge because you've never done it before and it's something different. But when you start practicing and doing it over and over again, this new path will become an actual, thing or actual pathway that your brain is familiar with and will continue doing because that's where your focus is. Now, the next one is, which I do quite often, is a meditation. And meditation helps a lot because it actually allows you to calm your mind and really allow you to actually start thinking clear and stop the chit-chatting, stop what your friends are telling you, stop what your parents or your expectations for anyone else. It's actually you. So find time away or find time to yourself and really sit there and clear your mind and just put on like a meditation music or a guided meditation to really, bring your mind down and really think clear. What do I need to do? And when you go deep enough, normally after at least 20 to 25 minutes of pure meditation, you actually start to see and think and get insights to what you actually really do. And that is actually from your unconscious mind and of course from your higher self. And actually being able to, okay, this is how I feel about it at this deeper level, and then allowing that to see through. But only when you're quiet and calm though, right? So if not, then you get all these chatters that you think it's true, but it's actually not. It's actually a conscious level being chit-chatty, and you're picking that up as being your truth. And the next one is about journaling. Another way of doing this is pretty much, I made a video about journaling, so you can check it out. And the link is just above. And journaling is pretty much just spending time to yourself as well and just writing it all out. Instead of spending time to think about it, you just write it all out on your journal and what is happening, how you're feeling about it, what can you do about it, and how could you change from it and grow from it. And also, I have a video about how to access the unconscious mind. So if you check out the link above or check out the description below, I'll have a video for you there too. And tip number 5. So how do you harness the power of the conscious and the unconscious mind and use it to the best ability, right? And the first thing is about actually awareness of what's happening, not to things that are happening on the outside, but the things that are happening on the inside of you and starting from you, right? What is happening? Why am I happy or unhappy? What's triggering me? Why am I in the situation that I am? And really understand that from a deeper level. How do I get out of it, improve myself from that way? And for that to happen, it's pretty much asking the right questions to yourself. And instead of, beating yourself down or doubting yourself or saying nasty words to yourself, actually asking the right questions. How do I get out of this? What do I need to do? How am I feeling about this? Is this person or this relationship healthy for me? What's going on? And really getting to the deeper point and asking the right questions to get out of a situation, not beating yourself down, but actually asking the questions, how do I actually get out of the situation that I am now? What do I need to do? You can keep improving things from the inside and tell yourself certain things. Like that's the thing about positivity. People keep thinking positivity would help me. However, it can only go so far because using your conscious mind to change everything, but what's happening isn't on the conscious level. How you're feeling, how you're reacting, how you get triggered, it's on a deeper level at your unconscious mind. So it's like you're trying to improve yourself. Yeah, I'm going to have these affirmations. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Yeah. On that deeper level, there's so many filters happening that is blocking you from actually shining, right? It's like you being on stage and you're performing the best that you can and improving yourself, but yet the curtains are still closed. And there's multiple layers of curtain covering you that no one can see what's happening. You can't express how you're feeling. You can't exert it. No one can see how you're improving. It's just this shield in front of you until you start moving the curtains and lifting the curtains and revealing the real you and allowing yourself to see through. That's when real things happen because the curtains are lifted. So learning and harnessing the power of lifting the curtains to your reality and to yourself so you can shine from the inside out to the world. And when you do that, everything that you perceive and everything that you project into the world changes because you are different from the inside, and how you see things will be different too. So now you know exactly what the unconscious and the conscious mind does. And, if you really want to discover more about the unconscious mind, how to get rid of that, feeling that you have inside that you've been trying to get rid of for so many years and it hasn't been any successful in the things that you're trying to do, start by downloading my 5-page guide in my description below about inner happiness and how to bring happiness from the inside out for every day and any day, right? So in the description below, you can download all that absolutely free. So check out all the other videos that I have on my channel and also suggested videos that I suggested before. And stay tuned with me, because next week I'm going to be talking about self-discipline and how to train your mind to gain that self-discipline for yourself. So if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell and share it with your friends. And have a good day today, and I'll chat to you next time.